So sometimes I wonder when I'm sitting here at home, sometimes editing videos, doing other things. I kind of have time to reflect on my life and the people who I have around me. And I wish sometimes there's times I wish I would have listened or done things a little bit differently. Everybody says, do you have any regrets? And normally I say no. I don't have any regrets. But the older you get, the more that you start to almost think of things that you could have changed that might have changed your life for what it is today. And those are some of the things that I've been thinking about lately, because I am kind of, just a normal person who wants to do normal things, and I want to be successful, and I want to have the things that few people have. You know, when I say that, though, I don't want to be rich. I don't think being rich would be the answer. Not for me, at least. I mean, money doesn't really trigger me. What triggers me is being around successful people, and I love that. A friend of mine one time said, surround yourself with successful people, and you'll be successful yourself. And I always thought, well, okay, that's something that I could actually do, maybe. At the time, I didn't know it. I just didn't think. I just thought about my life all the time. So anyway, growing up, I grew up in Fremont, Michigan. Went to school at Fremont. Kind of a loner. I didn't hang out with a lot of people. I had a couple friends that I hang out with all the time, and unfortunately, both of them the names of those guys were Tim. And but as time went by in high school, you sort of develop your own path. And I met a beautiful girl when I was in high school. Would be, later on become my high school sweetheart. We'd get married. We'd have a baby, and life just kept throwing these curveballs. I didn't know how to take care of a family back then. When they say you got married too young, now I understand why people say that. It's not because you're young. It means that you know nothing about life, and you need to take care of things before you get married. And you need to have, like a job, a career. You need to have a future. You need to have a plan. And some people don't have that. I didn't have that. I just wanted to get married to my high school sweetheart. I loved her with every part of my life. And first thing we ended up is living with my mom. We didn't even have a place to live. Then we got our own apartment. And then after that, we ended up moving to another apartment, and then ended up living with her sister. And we never really got our own place. Well, when we parted ways, we had our own apartment. But at that time, I didn't know how to take care of a family. I wasn't taught those rules. And so, through life, it just makes me think, God, what if I would have, instead of rushing out to get married, if I would have went to school, went in did other things that other people were doing to get ahead. No, I didn't do that. I didn't know how to take care of a family. I didn't know how to pay bills. I didn't know what it meant, how fast money could actually go. I always tried to keep food in the house. That was something that I always did. But other than that, yeah, I failed miserably. And it took a while for me to get on my feet. It took a while for me to realize that these are the important things in life. You got to pay your bills, and you got to have a plan. And that's okay. I'm sure a lot of people go through that as well. And the thing about it is another thing. I've always had some really good jobs. I mean, career-wise, I always had really good career jobs, and I always seemed to go up the ladder a step at a time. But it's real funny because, the people who you meet down your path in life are the people who can definitely I guess the best way to say it is these people are the people that you should have maybe been listening to, or maybe you shouldn't have surrounded yourself with that lifestyle. I've lost some friends because of poor judgments, and I am old enough now where I don't need to do that no more. Uh, I'm happy with my life. I got I got two grandkids that are on the way. I'm happy, but am I where I want to be? And the question to that is really not really. Um, for me to be fulfilled, I need to do something and make life changes, and we all have to do that. We have to make decisions on what we need to do to be happy, but at the same token, we cannot destroy what we have done. So everybody has new ideas, new plans, new things that they want to do, but at what cost? And what's it going to cost you this? How is it going to cost? And so at me being who I am, I'd rather just take it one step at a time. Been pretty successful in the last 4 years, and that contributes to having the right person pushing me from behind. And then that makes me think about my childhood. It makes me think about where I was 20 years ago. Where was the person who I needed to consult it then? And I didn't have that person. I didn't have that guidance. And then it made me realize that's what parenting is about. Parenting is a way of making sure that your children are on the right path. And sometimes you don't have control of that. You'll never have control of that. And sometimes it's hard to let go. I mean, I could go into the story about my son and his relationship to me over the years, how it affected him when my daughter came into the world. There was things I knew that were going on. I had no idea. But being a parent was the one thing that I thought I was doing right. Being a good father was the one thing I thought I did right. And I wouldn't learn until later on in life that I made a lot of mistakes. And those mistakes almost cost me my children. And so it's hard. It's hard to make these judgments and not know where it's going to end up. And this is why, to me, I think one of the hardest parts about being a parent is making the right decisions for your children. And being a parent is not easy. My parents both worked. My parents were divorced when I was 9 years old. So I had a unique opportunity, and I wish I would. Those are the things that I wish I would have done. I wish I would have seized on the opportunity and been better person back then when my parents divorced. But I had a stepfather who was a very strict man, military strict, grew up on a farm and all this other stuff. And I just kind of, for years, I resented because I thought he was this mean. My dad, he worked he was like this amazing person, mechanically inclined, had a good sense of humor. There's issues that I didn't know how to handle as a young child during that time, and maybe if I would have went that route, maybe I could have asked both my fathers, my stepfather or my father, for help in life. But then, of course, I had my mom. My mom worked. She worked her entire life. She was never a person to sit home. She was almost a very independent woman, very stubborn, set in her ways, and she'd rock our worlds if we got out of hand. But she was also very loving and nurturing mom. And during those years of conflict, divorce, really hardened me in the future for relationships. I think that was one of the main reasons, is because I didn't know how to work for my money. I didn't know how to take care of things like I should have. And later on in life, it would affect me. But as we get older, we learn these things, and maybe sometimes we learn late in life, sometimes we learn early in life. But I can tell you this, that when I put God in my life, things changed. I became a little bit closer to God. Even, when my me and my first wife lost our daughter, I resented God for quite a long time, even after we were divorced. If I would have put God first during those times, I think everything would have worked out, and I think God would have showed me the way. But guess what? I didn't do that, and so a lot of things happened. But as adults today, we have the opportunity to talk to our children and keep them, but we cannot save them. They will take the road they want to take, and there's really nothing we can do about it. We can be upset, we can be mad, we can do whatever, but now, me looking back, my parents did the same thing to me, and I never listened to them because I didn't think that's not what I want to do. I want to do what I want to do. Parents, we have a heck of a job to do. We do. But all I want to say is this, I enjoy doing these videos and stuff like this, and I enjoy it. But being a parent is hard. It's not easy. And yes, there are many success stories out there with parents. And yeah, it really does not make me a bad parent because things didn't happen the way I wanted my children to turn out, but they turned out great. All these years, all these things of worrying, my kids turned out great. They're doing their own thing. I mean, my son's, he's a great guy. Good personality. No, there's things I wish he wasn't, he didn't do, but you know what? That's his life. I can't do anything anymore. My daughter, she lives in another state. I miss her every single day. I don't get to talk to her as much as I like, but I get to share her life on social medias and stuff like that. I actually think that no matter how we look at it, God has a plan for our children. We just need to let him direct them and us be there for our children at any time. Here's one of the things that my son told me, and it made sense. Just always be there when they need you. That's it. That's it. Give them good direction and don't steer them wrong. That's how it works for me. Well, thanks for listening, and I really appreciate everybody, commenting and stuff. Leave a comment below. Like the video. Every time I put out a new one, you'll get a new one coming up. We do have some videos that are going to be coming up soon. We are trying to get Late Night with Rob and Chris back on the air, and also Ryan Casey is going to be joining us soon. We're going to be putting out a video this week, and you're going to want to look for it next weekend. So have a good weekend, the rest of your weekend, and guys, love y'all. Thanks a lot for everything, and have a good day. Bye.